Try this now. It's Master Chief. That's what he calls himself. So we'll do that. And that should go. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. I haven't done a live stream in a couple weeks. I want to say it's been like 2 weeks, actually. Master Chief Dad Bod. Is that your chair? Oh, there it is.
Flip the camera around for whatever reason.
What's good, Papa? How you doing today?
Good, you?
Best day of my entire life, bro. Thank you for hopping on, bro. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
I just want to make sure I have all my volume right. You can hear me good, right?
Yep.
All right, lit, bro. Yeah, I got you. Dude, I haven't done a podcast in a couple weeks. I did the one after I got out of the hospital, and I've just been kind of coasting since, you know. So I think you're the first client that I've had back on in probably, I don't know, maybe like a month or so, give or take. I don't know, actually. It's been a little bit. So
Dang.
I'm excited for this, bro. Are you pumped?
Thanks for having me.
Got you, bro. So you remember those questions that we went over?
And now they are completely out of my head. So
It's all good, man. So Facile, how do I say that? Facile, she says you hope you feel better. Were you also running into some issues?
No. Maybe she's talking about you.
Maybe, but I think your name's Alex, no?
Oh, no, sorry. I've got a flip phone, so like my screen's flipped up, so I can barely see the comment.
Oh, it's all good, bro. All right, man. So I'm gonna do my little intro here. How much time you got? Like 20-ish minutes?
You got me for as long as you need me.
All right, thank you, bro. Oh, Tanya, thank you. I appreciate you. So I got you on. I'm live on Instagram right now, TikTok. When we have Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and then I'm gonna have the podcast audio. Don't have my camera set up today. We're gonna shoot the shit, man. We're gonna have a good time. Okay.
Sweet.
All right, brother. Ready? 3. So my podcast software, I guess Riverside bought out Spotify or whatnot, and now it's like it looks all different and whatever. So just count down 3, 2, and 1. What's going on, fam? Welcome back to another episode of the Shift Your Mind, Change Your Life podcast. And today I'm joined by none other than one of our rockstar clients, Alex Judy. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Fucking best day ever, bro. Before we got on, man, we were just saying how it's been a little bit since I've recorded with one of the clients, man. So I'm stoked to have you here. Let's hop right in, man. So give us the backstory. You know, like who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? How do we connect? Let's dive into that.
Yeah. So born and raised in Arkansas. Have traveled around for work. I have 2 kind of different career paths. First, like I work for a major retailer. I buy and source product for them, and then I'm also a chief warrant officer in the U.S. military. So been doing Walmart for 19 years. Been in the military for 17 years. So kind of balancing that. Data for. I've done all kinds of crazy stuff when it comes to fitness. Anything from triathlons. CrossFit, competing competitions, powerlifting competitions, you know, like I've tried all kinds of stuff. I love kind of fitness and using it to kind of hone not only your body, but your mind. So like, it's great stuff. So yeah, and that's kind of how we connected was some dude like pissed me off on TikTok. So I started making just a little bit of content. I was like, what people aren't really seeing on this is everybody kind of shows their highlights in social media. Like it's all about look how awesome everything is. So really what I wanted to do is be like, no, I'm going to show every time I fail a lift. I'm going to go out there and just show like, hey, like it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the way that you get progress is through failure. Right. So that's really where I was. And then it was much more of a powerlifting style. And that's really kind of where you found me. We started chatting, and I don't know, man, it was like very first conversation, because you get a lot of like trolls and all of that through the internet. Yeah. And it was like, you just came off as super genuine, authentic, and we just hit it off.
Yeah, we did, man. Thank you for sharing that. I always say when I interview clients that like, you're not paid to say that, correct? Just
oh no.
Yep. That's completely organic. Because it's funny, man. Like you said, there's a lot of trolls online, and a lot of people think I'm fake, I'm a bot, I'm trying to scam people, and you could attest that that's obviously not the case, correct?
Correct. And with what I do for a living, the power of discernment is really kind of first and foremost whenever it comes to interacting with people. And it was super authentic, and like never really push or whatnot. You're just like, hey, like, what are your goals? And maybe I can help you get there.
Right. Well, that's really the attitude that I'm trying to take. So I appreciate that you recognize that, because there's a lot of thought out intention behind all the things that I do. And I'm sure you probably recognize that, so super cool. We're here, man. So father of four, absolute stud. Yeah, I found you on TikTok, and you were showing a lot of things. You were also lifting some crazy amount of weights for not a lot of reps. We talked about that on our first call, right? Was that a little, I'm curious, man. I don't know if we chatted about this, but was that a hit to the ego to like me shred some of your training videos?
Oh yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Because when you're training for one thing versus another, like it's completely different styles.
Right.
And whenever we started going over form and whatnot, like before, whenever you're doing, we'll just take squat for example, right? Whenever I'm doing a squat for powerlifting, like I'm hitting 90 degrees and then I'm going back up, because that's where that's where competition. I'm using a low bar to change the hip angle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really not concerned about making my quads look a certain way or muscle growth. It's like, oh no, like it's about how much power you can move. And if I looked at where I was when we first started, I was probably in the top 10, maybe top 5 in the state of Arkansas.
We're in powerlifting?
Which is which is great for the big 3 lifts.
Okay.
Or bench, squat, deadlift.
I don't know if you told me that. That's really cool, man.
Yeah. So like, and then we were just chatting a couple days ago, and I was like, yeah, man, like I am probably 80-90% as strong as I was,
right?
But aesthetically am bigger and am hitting like the goals. So like hypertrophy training is super impactful for your physique. Like it's awesome.
It's 2 different styles. So I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly, and for everybody else who's probably listening, right? So you were really good at powerlifting, right? And then you didn't really, I guess, have the experience with bodybuilding. Is that kind of fair to say?
Yep. So like whenever I was kind of trying to shape my body at the end of last year, it was like, do your big powerlifting and then just do some accessory work afterwards, right?
Right.
And that doesn't really change the way that I want it to change in order to achieve my goals.
Right.
So the timing of how this all kind of worked out is also just like the universe going, yeah, you're training a lot, but you're not seeing the goals, the things that you want to see.
Right.
So maybe you're not taking the right approach.
And that's really interesting that you say that, because you were training 6 days a week, twice a day. You were doing 20 grams of carbs a day, right? That's kind of where you were before you joined the team, correct?
Yep, I was pretty much carnivore for most of last year. I was working out like a demon, and really, yes, I did change my body, but it wasn't for the level of effort that you're putting forth. It wasn't changing at the speed that it is now.
Right.
So it's really just it's crazy to me, because I think now I'm training about a third of the time, the total time, as I was training last year. But if you look at my rest cycle time during the workout, and my total time under tension for the week is only about 2/3 of what it was last year. But a third of the time, twice the results, basically in a limited amount of time, and better body shaping. So it's just like, why wouldn't you do something like this?
Can you just repeat that a little bit for people that might not have picked up on that? Because I think that's such a key piece to that, man. Like,
focused, intention, effort, in a compact amount of time, getting better results. Like it's amazing.
So you're saying that you're training way less and you're getting better results. That's basically what it is.
Yep.
What a concept, huh?
It actually, like, in my mind, it doesn't make sense. It's because it's always like the more effort and intention you have behind something, the better the result should be. And that's also not the case here because, like, like you point out, I was not resting at all. Like, I was not giving my body time to repair itself before I just went through and hammered it again.
Right. Well, that's really the point that we should probably unpack a little bit, Alex, is because like your goal, right, primarily was to build muscle, correct?
Correct.
And you were trying to do that for how long would you say before you joined the team?
So last year, so January to January, I lost almost 60 pounds,
right,
and put on like 15 to 20 pounds of muscle. But now, in the last 60 days, if you look at my lean body mass, it is just on this trajectory right now, while gaining minimal body fat, like pretty much the same percentile body fat as I was, as while gaining muscle mass. So, like I spent 9 months at working, as you said, like 2 to 3 training sessions a week, or 2 to 3 training sessions a day. For 9 months. And there was a 120-day period where I didn't miss a day. It was 7 days a week. Like, I was going on a vacation, and I was like, bitch, I'm going to look good for that.
Yeah.
And I did look way better than I had looked, but it still wasn't to what a good physique would have looked like.
Well, because the way that the body is designed, right, it can only handle so much. And I think we probably chatted about that, like 10 to 15 working sets per muscle per week, really all you need, right? So when it comes to your situation and maybe some other people that can relate to this, you're doing so much and you're not getting the output because you're not recovering, right? I made that analogy on the call. If you had that scab, you kept picking at it, it wouldn't heal. It's the same thing here, right? So you could be doing all the right things, eating the right foods, showing up, pushing yourself because you were doing that, but physically weren't seeing the results, right? So that's really where a lot of people fall short, is because we think we're doing the right things, but I don't know. Let's be real, man. Like, I don't know if we're really taught the necessary, things here in school. I always joke around. I say I might have missed that class, but I don't think we go to the depths that we really need to be educated on stuff. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And especially in today's day and age, where there is so many different opinions about this only works, this works here. Intermittent fasting is the only way to really fix your body and your metabolism, right? So there's all these different things when it comes to not only nutrition, but from working out, so like it's every single aspect. There's just so much data, and everybody's saying I've got a way, and they want to sell you a piece of their pie.
Right. Yeah. So the thing is that yes, there is boatloads of information, and it's frustrating because you're like, who do I listen to? Who do I trust? Who could I rely on, right? And the thing for me is that I recognize that every person is different genetically. They have different goals. They have different experiences. That's why I believe in coaching, because quite honestly, if we look through the client roster here, nobody has the same plan. Nobody is treated the same way or has the same adjustments. And that's where it's really beneficial to have somebody like that in your pocket. Like, I myself have a fitness coach, and it's like, because I tried for so long P90X, keto, this, that, and like nothing's working because people just give you what they think you should have. But is that the reality of what works for you? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's kind of cool about every week, every 2 weeks, we're talking about it. What changes we're making, modify this. Look at this, the tempo on this movement. Like, you can work on the eccentric movement a little bit. Like, we're always in constant communication.
Always. Yeah. I love it, bro. I geek out on it. And it's like, that's where I feel like I have an upper hand, I guess, on some people, is because I just give a shit and I put in the time, and like a lot of people don't. And that's just the reality of it, and that's why I'm confident in what we do here. I'd be curious, Alex, going off. Did you want to say something? Sorry.
It was like, and just kind of expanding on you giving a shit.
Yeah.
Like, you actually do. And and it's not just about fitness or not just about nutrition. It's like now like about you yourself. Like I called you up the other day, going, hey, you got 5 minutes with something that's happening in my career.
Yeah.
You know, and based on that conversation, I'm just like there's no downside to go pursue this.
Yeah.
You know, go after it.
Mm-hmm. Right. But I think it's also having the what's the word I'm looking for? I wanted to say bravery, but I think just the courage, I guess maybe is a better word, to be open about those things. And that's where it's like, I think we have a really good connection, because you seem to be a guy that doesn't really struggle to be vulnerable. I could be wrong, but that's the sense that I get, is that, you know, you're pretty open about things, which allows us to really lean in and do our job. And that's why for clients, it's such a key component. And it's not like you have to air out everything. Obviously, it's to, you know, your comfort, right? But it's just about like, hey, like we would love to communicate on this to help you through that. And yes, I'm really glad you brought that up as well. It's not limited to this box of just macros and training. Like, yes, that's a piece to that, but you're also a human being that has a lot of other things that is going on, you know? And like, I'm working with my mentor to try and figure out how I could, you know, bring more of like a tangible piece to that, to the program, and kind of market that a little bit. So behind the scenes, we're working on that. But there's a lot of different things. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate you. Just would be really curious, bro, if you don't mind sharing like some of the really big shifts that you had upon joining. Because I think we're maybe on like month 3 now, I want to say, give or take, right?
Yeah, I think I just completed my 55th workout, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So we're over 2 months working on month 3.
On 3. So what have been some, you know, big shifts for you, things that you've learned? Why don't we unpack that a little bit?
Yeah. So from a workout standpoint, time under tension, hypertrophy, taking time to rest, those are some of the like key components. Really paying attention to tempo.
Right.
If you're talking like chest flies, and I went back and I was watching some old Arnold stuff, dude, just because, you know, some of that stuff always pumps me up. Right. But he really talks about it too. Like whenever you're working chest flies, he's like, I always tried to do a full open and almost touch the floor with my chest flies before coming through and hugging that tree. Right. So like it's all those little details, and you say it consistently, is every rep, every set.
You got a tattooed, bro.
No, I got a tattoo to be like, every time I lift, I can look down and see if I can pay attention. Yeah. Every rep, every set. Yeah. But it's you can take those pieces and apply it to your everyday life. Right. Anything you choose to pursue it with your fullest.
Damn, bro. That hits me, because that's really like the goal, is to really shape you guys as people and create leaders. Because that's really selfishly, bro, like the impact that I want to create, man. You know, I want to help generations of people like see a massive amount of change. And like, yeah, physical is cool, like building a couple muscles, whatever, you know, losing a few pounds. But it's like, what about the type of person that you are and how you impact those around you? And the example that you set, and how you communicate, and how you lead in your career, like all those things. That for me, like I think that's what's really important, right? And those, right? And those come from how you operate every day, every set. So you can take that one thing and apply it to everything else. Dude, I was so blown away when you sent the picture of that. I was like, this man just got that tatted. I'm like, this is incredible. You know, I had to post that. So thank you again for that, bro. I appreciate you. Is there anything else you want to say on that before we move forward?
Yeah, like the level of commitment that we both have to working together is kind of where you can see the game-changing results. Mm-hmm. Whenever you take and you're listening to feedback, and it's like, yeah, okay, every set, every rep matters. Cool. Like, I'm gonna get it fucking tattooed on my body. Let's go. Like, there's no thing. And you're talking about being open and honest and kind of what happens behind the scenes. Like you weren't there in the call last night.
I heard it was good though.
You know, we got into some things, and like and it's so much that happens between your ears, and like I never expected that from a fitness coaching program. But you know, like I shared whenever I was going through my divorce, like I was living out of my car. You know, I'm working for a multi-million-dollar company, and get paid really well. Ex-wife had changed things around, moved some stuff, had nothing to my name, and through the kindness of others, was able to like rebuild everything over the last few years and in a much better place.
Right.
And this is kind of that growth trajectory of the person killing the person that you used to be and pursuing with everything you have the person that you're going to be.
Oh, damn. You guys should write that down if you're on the podcast. That was a fucking nugget. That was good, man. Thank you for being, thank you for being open, bro. I appreciate that. I was unaware of that. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
There's so much power in your story and how you operate and, you know, the things that you've been through. And I just got to say, man, from the last, 4+ years of doing this and working with hundreds of people, you stand out, bro. You stand out. And I think there's no coincidence behind the results that you've seen and you're going to see for that reason, because like coach client, it's a mutual partnership. You know, the more you put in, the more I can reciprocate and we feed off that. And I think, there could be some people that never get to see that, maybe because they're not truly willing or ready to go all in. So what would you say to that? Because I think that's a big piece to maybe some people that are listening, because I'm sure there's a lot on the podcast. We get a good amount of downloads. There's a good amount of people that check this stuff out, and I would be really, really curious to see what your take is on that, because maybe your words could help inspire somebody to really take that next step.
Yeah. That just kind of reminds me of the conversation we had whenever I made the decision to go in.
Right.
Was I start with no on almost everything in life.
Right.
Do you want to do this? Nope. Like you are a gatekeeper of your own time, and your focused efforts is what should be driving your goals. So I think I told you no on that call like 5 times, 6 times.
You did?
And so you kind of pin me down and going like, here's where you want to go. I can help get you there.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna basically guarantee that you're gonna get the results that you want.
Yeah.
So why are you telling me no? And I was just like, I really don't have a good answer for you anymore. Cool. The answer is yes. So then it's like, okay, once I go yes, it's 100%.
Yeah.
And my army buddy said this to me whenever we were heading to Syria. It's like we put a plan together, and it was like, I'm really good at 30,000 feet, putting awesome plans together, creating cool ideas. And he's like, everybody wants to be the man until it's time to put in the work and do the things required to be the man.
Wow.
You put this plan together. Now it's time to actually go jump in the fucking Humvee and roll forward to a place where you don't want to go, you don't want to be. But now it's time to operate. And it was like, you know what? You're right. Like, you can't just talk the talk. You put the plan together, you execute the plan. Let's go.
Man, why can't everyone have that mentality? My life would be a lot easier if that was the case. That's incredible. Yeah. Again, thank you for your service, bro. I know you said, 20 years in the Army?
17 years in the Army. So working on that cool 20 years.
That's just incredible, bro. I almost went through on the Marine Corps when I came out of college. I don't know if I told you that. Have I ever shared that with you?
Nope.
Yeah, when I graduated college back in 2019, I finished up my baseball career, and I was thinking about it. I had some friends that served, and being when you have a bachelor's degree to go in as an officer, you could kind of climb the ranks pretty quick, So I thought about it for a little bit, but I guess God had a different plan for me, whatever. But that mindset, man, that was such a good piece. This is a great podcast for you guys listening. Like, this is awesome. First off, thank you for crushing that, bro. So we covered some shifts, things that you've learned. Going back to what you said on the call, you said no. What'd you say, 6 times?
5, 6 times had to be, because
why?
I'm just used to telling people no. My job is to tell people no more times than I tell them yes.
Where does that come from? I'm curious.
So what?
Where does that come from?
It just kind of being a gatekeeper of your time.
Right.
Because if you just say yes to everything that pops up into life, you can be just running ragged on 1,000 different projects rather than 3 projects that actually matter.
Damn, I'm fucking taking notes over here. That's good, bro. I 2,000,000% agree, because you could have 5 different kind of half-ass things that don't really get anywhere if you just go all in on one thing. And I'm a huge advocate for just doubling down on one thing. That's why I only have one business, and I only do this because I like to go deep with clients, and I like to serve, and I like to change people, and that's what it is. So that's really awesome. So you said no because you're ingrained to, I guess, saying no to pretty much everything that wasn't serving you, but it could almost be detrimental to the place where it was holding you back from taking something that would really help you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that was kind of the eye-opening point of that call of going, if you're going to pursue your goals, you were like, basically you can go drive that, because it's like, I know how to like just get in the muck and live in misery. Like, and I thought that was the living in misery and just putting in that face of the grindstone work to get the body. I thought that was the way to do it.
Right.
Like, I can sit there and muddle in that and continue to make mistake after mistake after mistake and see how long this process takes. Or I can just go ahead and talk to somebody that's already done it, already coach people to do it, and just fucking cut out another, 6 months, year, 2 years potentially, to get to where I wanted to go.
Right. And for me, like, that's why mentorship in my eyes is the best thing you could do. I've spent almost $100,000 the last few years on coaching for that reason, because I would rather spend the money and get there in half the time, or the opposite side of that, like you said, 6 months, 2 years, it could be 3, 4, 5 years, and you still don't have what you want. So for me, I view that as way more challenging, frustrating, and riskier, because you're not getting the result, and that's ultimately what you want. So it's like you have to pay with something. It's either time or money. The money you can make back, but you can't give back the time. And I feel that time is our most valuable resource and asset, however you want to chop it up. Because you said at the beginning, hey, I'm a father of 4. I would much rather you spend the time with them than just beating yourself in the ground to get this physical result that is really going to give you what? Maybe it's external happiness, but what if you could get that from something else while doing this and then married it too? So it's just about like having these conversations and coming at it from a different lens. And it's sad sometimes, because I think there's a lot of people that I speak to that are reluctant to take that leap because it could be scary. And I'd be really interested in your thoughts on that, Alex, as well. Did you have, maybe a wall up of skepticism with online coaching? Because you never worked with an online coach before, right?
Nope.
So were you like, hey, were you kind of having some like red flag ideas there? Like, what is this shit? Could it work? Am I getting scammed here? Like, what is that? Could you unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, so those were all the things that ran through my mind, but of like, can I trust this person? Do they actually have my best interest at heart? Are they just going to grab my money and run?
Right.
All of those things. And I definitely went down the internet rabbit hole on you to try to figure out, like, is this person legit? Has he lived in New York? Is he from Staten Island? Like,
oh, really? You did your research, huh?
Oh, yeah. I went forensic accountant on your ass.
Oh, really?
To see if, it's just part of. It's kind of part of who I am.
That's fucking awesome. I didn't know that.
Everything that I found, I was like, no, this is legit. He at least exists. And at the end of the day, if he scams you for my money, I can figure out where he lives, and we're going to have a conversation. But I say all that to say it was, while I have those reservations, the way that you engage people, have conversations, it's like, if this guy's a scam artist, he's the best fucking scam artist I ever have seen. So he can't just have my money. But I did have a bunch of buddies that have went through online coaching.
Yeah.
I've had in-person personal trainers. I just talked to another dude. He works with me. He's like, man, I'm working on 60 years old, and you've inspired me to get back in shape. So he hired a personal trainer, and my first thing to him, he works out with him now 3 days a week. He's already seen some good results, but
nice.
I was like, hey, so is he coaching you up on nutrition? And he's like, nope. I was like, okay, well, if you like any nutritional advice, like I could at least give you some basic frameworks of eat good whole foods, and you'll probably be all right. Mm-hmm. But it's just interesting the way that a in-person trainer can focus on, sets, reps, pieces, movements. Mm-hmm. If we were training together in the gym, I know that I'd be learn some nice different cadences and styles and tricks and tips.
I would cook you up, though. Yeah, it'd be a good time.
90% of everything else outside of the gym. And you do a great job of focusing on the whole person. Right. Because if you got shit running between your ears and you're not dealing with those things, right, then the way that you show up and the attention that you have at the gym you might be approaching it from in a completely different way. And then you might just be sitting there harboring that stress, and that has that hormonal response on your body.
Right.
And you produce more cortisol. And then you have that belly fat that just won't go away because you're only dealing with one small aspect of your life.
Wow. I'm just, there's a lot to unpack there, dude. You're fucking incredible. I didn't realize that you had like a whole team researching me and shit. That's great. But yeah, I mean, I got nothing to hide, bro. You know, I am who I am. I put it all out there. I wear it on my sleeve, you know, and I'm happy, I'm thankful, and I'm really appreciative that you're sharing all these things, because there's just a lot of people that I feel like need to hear this information, because the genuine desire to help and the tools, the resources, and the knowledge that we have and the experience, just like, I wish everybody could truly, you know, have this type of environment, because I really, like, selfishly wish I had that when I was first starting. You know, don't get me wrong, I have an incredible family. My dad taught me a lot. I still had a good understanding being a former athlete and whatnot, but not to this degree, you know, and you don't get here by mistake. And there's a lot of time and energy and studying and researching and all these other things you can do. But like you said earlier, mentorship, you can just skip all of that and you can just listen, you can learn. I don't know if I shared this with you, bro, but I actually started as an in-person trainer. Have I ever talked to you about that?
So it feels like I probably know you better than you know me, because I've now went through like almost all of your podcasts.
Really? Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I'm at like 250 now. So yeah, I'm closing in on your live stuff now.
Thank you.
But like, so I hear you say that that's where you started,
right?
And then you decided to kind of make a change, but you haven't really went in depth about what drove that change.
Well, thank you for listening to all the podcasts. It's probably pretty cool being on the other side of it now, right? So
it's a little wild.
Yeah, we're here. But yeah, long story short, I was in the gym, and kind of like how you just were mentioning with your friend, is like I just saw that there's got to be a better way. I didn't know what it looked like. I just knew that there was something there. I was spending 8 to 12 hours in the gym per day, you know, shoveling food out of containers, you know, not having a lot of time to go to the bathroom or having breaks. People cancel. You don't see them for a week. There's no communication. I'm just like, this can't be it. You know, and also financially, like, let's just be real. It's really tough to pay your bills, especially living in New York, you know, trading your time like that. You know, maybe I'm charging $80, $100 a session. Even at that, give a cut back to the gym, pay tax, whatever, groceries. It's like, what are you really taking home? So it's like both sides are losing here, right? So now with online, way more time, fraction of the cost, and we can actually serve you on the things that matter. So that's my thought process. How it started, I had a mutual friend. Shout out to Joe Granieri. I always give him a lot of credit, because he put me on to my first mentor, who had an incredible program, and I joined that. And they essentially just mapped it out from top to bottom. They had like a full course, ongoing calls, a lot of support of guys that have been doing it for a very long time on how to do all these things, you know, leverage social media, what content, how to reach out to people, all of that, you know. And I don't really talk about it a lot, but I'm starting to really just, after the whole hospital scare, I feel like I have a different perspective on things, where I'm just like way more open, because I don't really have anything to hide. Like I said, I've spent a lot of money and time on mentorship to learn all these things that would have been possible without that. But to answer your question, the program that I was in taught me everything from top to bottom. And this allowed me to feel confident and comfortable in doing the things that I was doing, because otherwise you guys wouldn't be here. So in the back of my mind, I was like, I have to learn these things. And if I don't, I'm doing them a disservice, because I'm going to be the one that's going to push them over that, you know, barrier, I guess you could say, right? And if I'm not learning, aside from fitness, this has nothing to do with fitness for a second. This is all like business, psychology, sales, all of that. If I'm not skilled at that, then nobody gets served, because that's a necessary evil to get to this other side. Does that make sense?
Yep. Well, and that's kind of part of what you've opened up in my life. Is I am a pretty successful business person.
You are, yeah.
The company has invested a lot of money in the way that I think, execute, plan, strategy. And then, like, we have conversations sometimes. I was like, fuck, I know how to do all of this. Like, I just have never taken that piece and thought about having a life mentor and take the things in business and be like, why aren't you doing this in your personal life? Why aren't you, like, you know, working on some of your side hustle and your dreams, just in case, you know, this Walmart thing doesn't work out. You know, I've been here for 20 years, but, you know, shit happens. So, like, taking the time and energy to put into yourself for is like such a turning point for me back in December.
That's just incredible, bro. Because that's what we're trying to create is really an experience more than anything else. Like, yes, it's a transformation, but I try to really come at it from the lens of what would this experience look like, and how could we give that to them, and what way are we delivering that? You know. So does that give you some clarity on kind of the situation prior? Because it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, and kind of what I also appreciate is while we like this program is set up and there are sets, reps, nutrition, like it's a plan. It's full to go, full forwards, and it is like I always like strive for that perfection. And we talk about like perfection is not achievable, but if you strive for perfection, like you're going to achieve greatness. And really that's where we kind of talk about, but also giving yourself the grace when you stumble, because like I go through and try to execute everything perfect every day. But you're gonna have the stumbles, and you talk about like giving yourself time to be like, hey man, you don't have to just go all or nothing. And just because you decide to have dessert doesn't mean you know that derails your whole week. You throw everything out, all your progress and all your gains are now gone, and you've magically turned overnight back into the fat kid. Like, you don't have to worry about that. Just get back on track tomorrow.
Yeah. That was a big struggle for me for a long time. Even like business wise, if I'm being transparent, I think that was a big reason I ended up in the hospital, because they ran all the tests and there was no physical issues. There was no blood clot in my lung, no heart issues, no damage whatsoever. So they're thinking, oh, it's got to be a stress anxiety attack. And in my mind, I'm like, dude, I'm not stressed out at all. Like, you know, I love what I do. I'm enjoying this. But then after just taking some time to step back, I think how much I was really doing, I wasn't recognizing that. You know, you get up at 5, 6, you go crush the gym for an hour or two, come back right on the phone. You're on the laptop all day, meetings, calls, this, and that. You know, there is a lot of that mental side that it kind of drains you, you know, and maybe you don't take the time to step back and recharge. So going back to like the all or nothing kind of spiel, like I thought I have to do like all day, every day, or I'm not going to be successful. But it's like, you know, is that really the case? If you take a little time away, does that mean that you're not going to get there? Kind of the same thing with fitness. Because you take that midweek rest day, does that mean you're not going to gain the muscle? You know, it's kind of like a paradigm shift. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is 100% a paradigm shift, because I've always kind of operated under that assumption of the more effort you put in, the better the results. It's kind of the case, but not 100% of the story.
Right. It's like, it makes sense, but to what degree do you kind of draw that line of like, all right, now it's counterproductive, you know? Because if we were talking about at the beginning, we talked on like, you know, the working sets per muscle per week. If you're outside of that threshold, then it's diluted returns. And it could be the same thing with really anything, whether that's a relationship, your career. There comes that point where like, all right, I need a little bit of a break, you know? But it's also redefining what I think, you know, fun or, you know, pleasure looks like, because that's a whole other can of worms. I don't know if we'll have time for that today, but that's also something that we could speak on. You know, I think to wrap this up, because I didn't realize we're at the 40-minute mark already, and I was aiming for like 20 minutes. We could probably go like 2 hours, so we might end up bringing it back on. But just really quick, Alex, as we wrap up, what would you say to somebody who is struggling right now? You know, maybe somebody is, you know, like I said before, on the fence with online coaching. They're skeptical. They think they could do it on their own. You know, maybe they're a former military guy who's, you know, top 5 powerlifting in his state, but maybe he's not seeing the results. You know, what would you say to that person?
So I would say, like, go ahead, talk to people, do your research, and kind of see, because while there are 1,000 different programs and methodologies, just going through and saying, is the level of effort that I am putting into this, is it yielding the results? And if it's not, either make a change or stop bitching. So it's really taking the time and the courage to self-reflect about your priorities. And if it is in your priorities to do, finding the best, most efficient way to do it. And for me, like the things aligned, and it was like, have the courage to take the jump. And then once you take the jump, execute the plan.
Pretty simple stuff, right?
It is. You can overly complicate it, but at the end of the day, Just like some of my buddies talked about. Like, trust the process, trust your coach, execute the plan.
That's it, man. I couldn't have said it any better, man. So you'd say it's been worth your time and the investment, everything, right?
Absolutely. It is probably the best self-investment that I have most likely ever made.
Damn, bro, that hits. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Put a lot of effort in, so I'm just really glad that you see that. All right, man. Is there anything else you want to share before we head out?
Well, I'm good, but I think we could definitely sit and chat for hours, and I look forward to at some point. I'm going to either fly down to Miami, catch you in New York.
Dude, let's do it.
We're gonna have a gym set.
Yeah, absolutely. My goal for this year, bro, is to put together some type of event. I haven't really been tied to a location or a time frame, but it is a goal. I do want to do that. And yeah, if you ever get the opportunity to come down to Florida, bro, I would, obviously make time to come and see you. I train it. I live in Boca. I train at Redcon. This is where I'm at. So we'll connect for sure, though.
Yeah, well, and I'm definitely a gym whore, so I would love to go work out at Redcon and see and buy some merch and see that, because that place looks pretty legit.
It's awesome. So really quick before we go, I haven't announced this yet, but they just brought me on as a sponsored athlete within the last couple of days.
That's awesome. I was hoping that was the news that was coming down the pipeline, but I'm also pretty impatient when it comes to that stuff. So it's really hard not to just be pinging you up, be like, hey, what's the brand coming?
Yeah. No, I just had to finalize a couple of things with them, but I just yesterday, the day before, I took a full tour of the headquarters, and I'm actually doing a shoot for them today. So I'll probably make an announcement either this weekend or early next week, and I could get you guys a discount code for the supplements. So yeah, we get some kick-ass shit, save some money.
So I know we keep trying to wrap this up. One quick story on that, though.
Go ahead.
So one of my former bosses, he runs the health and wellness for us, and he's like, hey, this I see that you're into bodybuilding now. Would you want to meet this? I'm not gonna name drop, but this Mr. Olympia,
right?
That happens to be classic physique. He loves working with us. His products are great. Would you like to meet him when he comes to town? I was like, are you kidding me?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, when do you get to meet one of the best bodybuilders of all time?
Fuck
so
yeah.
I'll see if I can, maybe meet up in Boca and see if we can't get a workout out of with him.
Bro, that would be awesome. I'm here, man. So just shoot me a message. I'm just a call away, bro. But dude, thank you so much for your time, bro. I really appreciate it. This was phenomenal, and we'll probably have to do another one soon. All right.
I'm down for it.
All right, brother. Thank you again, man. We'll chat soon. Okay. Enjoy your day. All right, bro. Peace.
Bye.
That was lit. Alex absolutely smashed that. I knew having him on was going to be incredible. So thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you. If you guys would like to see Alex back on the pod, let me know. Shoot me a message. Or if there's maybe some clients in particular you guys want to see, or some guests maybe that you guys would like me to interview, let me know. I'm all ears. So I hope you guys have the best day ever. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Let's get it.